Hello and welcome to another episode of Miss Chris's Crochets and Knits. I'm Miss Chris and I am looking forward to letting you know what I've been up to the last week and declaring a whip of the week and finally moving on to some life updates. If that's something that interests you, then stick around because that's what we're doing today. So, if you saw last week's video, you know that my whip of the week is my floor length scrappy multi-panel skirt. So I've been working on one panel for this whole last week, and I had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and I worked on it probably about 12 and a half hours of that 3-day weekend. So let me show that to you. So last week I was on the purple, and this week I'm all the way up here. I've more than doubled the length of it. Sorry, that's the more than doubled the length of it. So I will give you a few clips of me working on that, and we'll see you in a minute. Well, if you made it through my midweek update on Thursday, I believe I posted it, then you would know that I am not the fastest knitter. I'm a much faster crocheter, and I've been working on my crochet for a lot longer than I've been working on my knitting. Even though I actually started out with knitting, I moved on to crochet because it's so much faster. And I was an end point knitter for a long time. Like, I needed a project to be done like all the time, like as many projects, like just finished, finalized, whatever, just out. And I'm not really that anymore. I'm taking on longer projects. I'm not just beanie, 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 sweater, sweaters, like not sweater, beanie, 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 scarf, 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 headband, 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 headband. I'm more trying to do these longer projects like the skirt. The skirt is probably going to take me 6 to 8 months, but I do like to have shorter projects in between. So this is, while the skirt is still going to be a whip that I am working on this week, I will also be working on another whip. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I set aside some yarn to be used to make the hexagon sweater. And so this is what I have so far. You can see how the arm's gonna go, how the body's gonna go, and I'm alternating different colors of pink because I think that looks really nice. It looks really good on camera too. I feel like it looks better on camera than it does in person because that light pink is popping. It looks so good. So yeah, this is the whip of the week, the whip that I'm going to be working on most this week. And I can't wait to get started. I have many colors of pink picked out, and I will keep you updated on this. I'm really looking forward to it. I worked on it for like 2 hours, and I was like, oh, I finished this much in like 2-3 hours. Oh my god, knitting is taking me so long. Why did I choose a knit skirt? Although the last skirt that I made was crochet, and it took me forever and ever and ever. Like, if you watch my channel, you've seen me working on it for probably 3 or 4 months. I finally finished it. It's gorgeous. Like the most beautiful skirt that could ever have come from the skirt that I made from my own efforts. So I want this skirt to be just as beautiful as the last one. And I'm hoping that this hexagon sweater goes just as fast and is just as beautiful as the last one. If you want to see those other projects, you'll just have to look further into my videos where I have my skirt reveal, I have my hexagon sweater reveal, and I can't wait to give you another reveal next week, hopefully. At least I think this panel of the skirt will be done, and I should have made quite a bit of progress on this as well, since this is actually the whip I'm going to be focusing on this week. So my goal is to finish this in a week, and I do think it's possible because I already have quite a bit done. My secondary goal is to finish an entire panel up. It's going to be doubled over, and it'll be one single panel on the patchwork scrappy skirt because it'll be doubled over. As for my next project, I'm not really feeling very much motivation to pick out another project because I have several huge projects that could really take some work to finish. Maybe I might do a shawl or a large scarf, maybe a poncho, but there's not really anything that's jumping out and screaming, "Make me!" to me right now. I did consider the Sophia scarf because I could do it with one skein of yarn and be done with it, but yeah, that doesn't really appeal to me either right now. Maybe a headband? I don't know. something small that I could finish in a week, I think. Because taking on these larger projects when you're working full time is rough. Yeah, since I'm working full time, I'm kind of a little limited in what I could finish in a week. I was able to finish so much of the skirt because sorry about that. I had that extra day off. So I was able to finish a lot in the skirt. But I think next week is going to be a full week, and I will not be able to knit or crochet as much as I want to. So I'm feeling a little stressed, keeping up with this pace. So I will give you the midweek update, and then I will show you how much I finished next week during my regularly scheduled video. But don't expect it to be as impressive as this week or in the previous weeks. I had several projects on deck that were nearly finished that I was able to complete in the last probably like month and a half, 2 months. But I don't have that anymore. I'm mostly out of whips except for the larger ones. And they take a considerable amount of time to be worked on. So I won't be able to keep up the pace of my previous YouTube videos. Now as for a life update. I am good. My life is going well. Nothing too crazy except that I feel like I'm taking this YouTube thing a little bit too harshly on myself. Yeah. But I guess that's what you need to do. You gotta do what you gotta do. But it is making my hobby a little less fun. And a little bit more like work. Like instead of completing a full project, maybe it would be better to just like do a granny square or something. Or even like a panel. Like this is cute. I could show you this. Something like this. Nice thick yarn. That's another thing. A lot of YouTubers are using super chunky yarn. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm using super thin yarn. And this, while this is chunky and is working up so fast, most of my projects are not made with super chunky yarn because if you've been following my channel for a long time, you know that when I first started knitting and crocheting, I went on a yarn buying binge. But I bought all used yarns, which means that these yarns were previously owned. And which means that I had a lot of scraps, a lot of little one skeins, a lot of little, like, just kind of whatever yarn. Some of it's great. Like, I've got alpaca, and I've got, like, fancy wools from England and from, like, all kinds of places. Peru, alpaca from Peru. Like, pretty insane, like, good stuff. But I've also got a ton of just miscellaneous, I don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. I mean, I know enough about the fibers to kind of guess what they are. Like, but sometimes acrylic is meant to feel like wool. So sometimes I can't tell what's a wool blend or things like that. But yeah, so these scrappier projects are kind of me trying to work my way through the massive amount of yarn I bought. It's massive. Yeah, so I have to do some of that stuff. So yeah, it's putting a little bit of pressure on myself. So I don't know if I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue the weekly ones, but I probably won't have a full project to show you. It'll probably be like parts of projects every week. So yeah, the life update is that my life is going great. I'm just putting a lot of pressure on myself doing this YouTube channel. But I think that's okay. I am trying to build my following and make my YouTube videos better. So hopefully in the future, more people will enjoy watching my content. But this is starting to not feel like a little fun thing I do. And I think it would if it was my only job. Like if I was a housewife or something. But I'm not. I work a full-time job, and this YouTube thing, creating the pieces for YouTube is starting to feel like a full-time job on top of my full-time job. So I don't think you're going to get that many finished piece reveals in the future. Not as many as I've been doing because I was just working through my whip stash. So I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next time.